Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you rocking with me. I feel like I've started these videos a dozen times, and I've just never followed through with them for a lot of reasons. The condition of the property, it's still pretty rabid, rubbish, rough. It's in bad shape. We still got a lot of cleaning up to do, but we're kind of at the point where stuff is coming along, so I thought I'd show you guys what I've been working on. And I'm realizing that the ground is wetter than I thought, and I'm not wearing my boots. I'm wearing my sneakers, so oops. But let's start with this. This is what I was working on the last couple of weekends. We had drainage problems. I talked about it in a couple other videos, but basically I dug a trench here. Everywhere you see the gravel, I dug this trench, put in a drainage pipe. I got an extra one sitting over here, so I'll come around. This is my offcuts here. So I put in a perforated drainage pipe like this one, so groundwater flows into here. Basically the rocks, the gravel works as a dispersion for water, and you know, it slows, well, in our case it speeds up the rate of water draining, but because we just have like really shitty clay soil. But anyway, it picks up the groundwater. They pick up into the pipes, flows into this water, this drainage bucket here. I've actually got this grate that needs to go in here, like so. The downspout was originally tied into a French drain, which is now tying into this box. And then I'm going to put a rain chain. I'm going to take the gutter out, put a rain chain in. That's going to come directly into the box. And then we already had a French drain buried here, and it leads out to footing drains, which are buried right there. You can see the downspout goes into there, and then it flows off to the back to, I don't even know if you can see it, but there's a wood pile there that is basically a couple of fallen trees and a couple of cut trees that have since grown a maple tree out of them. This is going to be one of my projects here. Oh, shout out to me trying to put the backhoe on the tractor and destroying the grass right here. Not that I care about it. I hate mowing this grass, so I'm not mad, but anyway, this is Minnie's makeshift dog run. But yeah, so this maple tree, when we first moved in, this maple tree was like one stick, and I didn't think much of it. And basically within the year we were building it, just exploded. And now it's a fallen tree, but it's going to have to come out, unfortunately. I don't know if you can see, but there's like sod over here that got pulled back and pushed up basically into a mound. That's just dirt over there. And then you can just see like construction stuff left over. There was a mobile home here when we bought the property, so there's like all these cinder blocks that the house was sitting on. He had a fire pit. I guess that is where I can't remember if that's where the fire pit was or if we moved it. I think we ended up moving it, but those were the rocks from a fire pit. There's his logs over there. This is just like leftover construction debris that we just haven't had time to deal with. These were the stairs to the mobile home that the guy that bought the mobile home was supposed to take with him. I don't know what's up with this like table thing. We called it the bar for a long time. You can see I got cinder blocks up here. This just needs to go to the dump, basically. And then this is wood. We saved all the wood from our construction project. There was so much waste, so much like leftover good wood, and I covered it, but unfortunately it came uncovered, and we just didn't get it dealt with last summer like we had intended, partially because of the kid, partially because of COVID. And then you can see where it's like got, you know, some sort of like fungus or mold now growing on it. But we researched what to do about that. We're going to take care of that, and Taryn's going to build a tiny greenhouse with that. So the reason I bring all this up, I'll spin you back around here, is I'm going to show you guys the next phase of the project and how it's going to tie into the resale business. You can kind of see here where I was playing around with the tractor. There was like a fern here, and I wanted to see if I could just like pick it up, and I basically did. I more or less ripped it out of the ground, and discovered there was a stump there that I didn't know about. So that's there. But like this is kind of the front acre of our property. Like it's just this overgrown, tiny trees and bushes and lots of blackberries. And you can see we got smart when we first bought it. We laid tarps and stuff down here. Again, all of these cinder blocks, we didn't buy any of these. These were all just sitting on the property. But we used it to weigh down the tarps so we keep this walk area clear. We are going to lay gravel all the way back through here. Look at this. Look at this Jurassic Park freaking blackberry vine. And it goes like, I don't know, all the way back there somewhere. But that's the name of our property back here. But the reason I bring it up is this is next phase. So we've got this, oh, got caught by a sticker bush. There we go. This is part of our septic system. This is it's a pump system. So what happens is that the house actually bypasses the septic tank and the drain field, and it comes down here, and there's a couple of tanks just right over here where everything goes in, and then there's an aerator, basically a giant fan that like breaks everything down and pumps a bunch of air into it, and then it gets pumped back up to the drain field and the septic and all that. Actually, maybe it goes into the septic tank and then down and then up to the drain field. I can't really remember. But basically what it comes down to is because we do have clay soil, they have since determined that these are not necessary, but 25 years ago when the septic system was put in, they weren't sure if the soil would handle and percolate and do all that stuff that it's supposed to do. So the county was requiring these systems. The problem is that once you have the system, you're required to keep it. So there's like nothing I can do about it. But we have to have it serviced twice a year, and it's not so bad right now because everything's dead, but basically they couldn't even get around to the back of the box because of all this overgrowth. And here's another thing too, like the previous owners, I can't even get to it. The previous owners had these plans. This is all electrical conduit that is now disconnected, but I don't know to what extent it's buried. You can see, I think you can see where it ends there, and it's just taped off. This is like all intertwined all back here. I don't know where it goes, or you know, where it kind of goes underground. I can't tell, but I got to get all that up if I can. Shit, there's another stump. Look at that. Can you see that? That looks sawed too. That doesn't look broken. So, anyway, I got, Jesus, I mean, these sticker bushes, there's still blackberries up there. There's still blackberries. I don't know if you can see it, but it's, you know, January, and I mean, they're dead, but there's still blackberries on these things. It's crazy. This all needs to get cleared back because I'm not dealing with this. I mean, it's gnarly, and it's all sticker bushes, and it's gross. But the point is I got to get this area cleared because they're coming to do their biannual service here, or semi-annual service, I guess would be. This thing is lit up. It says reset. It won't open. Hello? Push when lit. I don't know how this thing works, to be perfectly honest. I don't know. It's not, there's an alarm. It's not beeping, so it must be fine. Anyway, I got to get all this cleared for them. We are going to bring gravel back here, like I said, so that this stays a path. Look, there's a water hookup right there. That'll be nice. Is it operating? Yep. Needs to be cleared out, but that's cool. These things were all over the property. I tried to save all of them when we were building. We had to steal one in order to get water into the house, and then there was another one that I was going to turn into a oh, it's wet here. Oh, it's wet and soft. Okay, we're not going to go any further because I'm just wearing sneakers and they're not waterproof. But I was going to turn the other one into a just like another external spigot, but the pipe broke. The underground pipe broke and it was like leaking. You could see in the summer where the driveway was just soaking wet because it was rising to the surface. So I had to like dig in, and I just capped it off. I know roughly where it's at. I could, especially now that I have the backhoe, I could go down and get it and reattach it somewhere if I really wanted to, because I know approximately where it's at. But anyway, you can see where I've cleared here with the brush cutter, and it kind of loops around there to where the tanks are. That's the next phase of the project. I was actually going to be working on it today, but we had some things come up, and then I went to put a new blade on my Echo, and it turns out the blade I bought doesn't fit, so I gotta go back to Home Depot and get the right one. And I also had to buy a chainsaw because I just don't think the Echo, I mean, definitely won't take out the stump, obviously, but there's some of the stuff is just so big around. But that's the next phase, right? So that's going to take me, clearing that's probably going to be a day's work as far as clearing it sufficiently for the inspector, or not the inspector, the service guy. But from there, I'll spin you back around. We're going to clear basically all of this. So right about, I think this tree's going to have to come down too, which is sad. But that's all right. We're buying a wood chipper. We're going to turn it into mulch, and we'll use it to start our planting beds. Right about here is where the pump is, as far as a straight shot. This is all going to get cleared, and it gets to be fairly level once you get down here. And this is, and again, here's my wood pile, one of the wood piles. Looks like this is where Taryn pulled up from. This was all covered. We worked so hard to protect this wood, and then I wasn't able to do anything with it and get it put away before Mother Nature, came through. But although same thing, I mean, we can clean it and mulch it, and we'll still get use out of it. I definitely don't regret not sending it to the dump. But this is one of the potential sites we're looking at for the eBay shed. I mean, you can see it's just all overgrown, right? It's all grass and twigs and bushes and blackberries. So there's a lot, and some trees too that will have to come down. So, there's a lot of work here, and there is one other downside, and that's the walk up. Even if I gravel all of this, which I'm going to, because our well house, again, more construction trash over here that's got to go to the dump, but a well house that needs to be rebuilt. But we're going to gravel all of this so that this area stays clear. It stays pretty clear already, but we definitely want to help that along. But I mean, arguably with gravel, it's going to be even harder to get stuff up and down, because it's not like you could, use a cart, right? Right now I could, put something in a garden cart or the wheelbarrow or something, and I could wheel it down. In gravel, it's a lot harder because it's not solid underneath you, right? So kind of iffy, 50-50 on if this is where it's going to be. This is about as far as we're going to clear, with one exception we used to have until it overgrew. But we had walking paths back this way and back this way that led to the corners of our property. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's a pink marker there. The surveyor came through and laid markers all through the path to get to the corners. And we had kept them clear for about a year, but again, Mother Nature and other responsibilities kind of took over, so we weren't able to. I wasn't able to keep up. Taryn can't work the Echo; it's too heavy. Yes, I wasn't able to keep up on it, but I definitely want to re-clear that. My original hope was that I could do it with the tractor, but I don't think I can. I'm gonna have to do it by hand. So that's going to be like days, because it's so tiring and you make so little progress as you go because it is so thick. It might even wait till next winter, honestly, at this point, because we have other things we're working on this winter. It's impossible to do it in the summer because it's just exploded with growth. But in the winter, when it's a little bit dead, I can maybe come back here and clear it out, or maybe I'll have I don't know, some sort of like pulverizer attachment for the front of the tractor. Maybe instead of the bucket, I'll have like a, just like a chewer type thing. I'm making that up. I don't know if anything like that exists. And then I can just sort of drive it back, at least as far as you can. You do reach a point where there's like a dry creek back there and some other stuff. So I couldn't take it all the way to the corner, but I could take it, most of the way for sure. And then, yeah, we got to rebuild. This was broken when we bought it. Another thing that I intended to fix last summer. I was going to tear this whole thing down. I'm still kind of planning on it. Tear it down to the studs and redo the roof and redo the siding, and then re-insulate it on the inside as well. We had some flooding, couple of flooding issues in there. Well, really back to back. Like I had a bunch of flooding issues. I had a bunch of flooding issues when we first moved in, because the water was gross and I was trying to fix it, and I was doing like chlorine shocks, and I put in a filter system, and I just had a lot of leaks. And the problem is it's all way down there. So, you sit there for half an hour, nothing leaks. You go, okay, I guess we're good. And then you notice your water pressure's in the toilet, no pun intended. So you go down and check, and the place is flooded. So there's mold in there. All of the basically all the insulation's bad, and it wasn't very good to begin with, and there's a lot of work that needs to go on in there. But I need, help for one, extra sets of hands, and I need a string of sunny days in order to get it done, because we really have to be able to tear down all the exterior and the roof, put the exterior back up, and put the roof on in one day for the most part. I mean, you could tarp it and, buy an extra day with it, but, for the most part, we can't leave that open air at all. So, the other idea, and one that I kind of like equally well, is back over here. Basically straight over there's a mound, and it's fairly level over there as well. And so part of me is considering, we're clearing this anyway for the greenhouses and the hoop houses or high tunnels, whatever I always get which one is which confused, but all that stuff's going to go over here for the farming part of the operation. And this is not a bad spot to put the eBay shed. Additional benefit is that, like, during the summer, I can't see my neighbors, but right now it's like I can reach out and touch them. Not that I don't like my neighbors. I don't even know them, but I wouldn't mind having more visibility blocking here. And also what's interesting is, I'd have to go back and look, but either our property line isn't straight, or this part of, I don't even know if you can see it, but this part of their property that's cleared is actually part of ours, because our corner, I can't see it either, so neither can you, but this tall tree right here, our property marker is on the other side of that. And it looks to me, at least from here, that that might overlap with theirs. I don't know. This is the other part of the equation, which is that our property is long and narrow. That's what she said. And so we kind of put the house, our house is basically as close to, it's as close to the street and this property line up here as is legally possible. And I wouldn't even trust somebody to bring a tape measure out to verify that, because I'd be puckered up. And we did that on purpose because we didn't have the money at the time to have this cleared. Everyone's like, oh, clear, 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 put it in the back, put it in the back, put it in the back. We didn't have the money. Like, part of the reason that we bought this property was that the septic was here, the hookups were here, the water was here. This was already cleared for the most part. Like, it was more or less turnkey ready, for us to start building. And, in order to do that back there at the time that we started the project, it was just, there was no money. 6 months later, when they hadn't even laid the foundation yet. Well, I had a new job. Taryn had a new job. We had a lot more money, and we probably could have done it. But I actually like where it's at, because I don't like having a long driveway. A lot of my neighbors have long driveways. They can't get the mail or FedEx or anybody to come to their door. Mailman picks up my eBay packages right off my front porch every day. No big deal, because, it's 20 feet from the road. It's no big deal. And I'm at the end of the paved road. So I don't regret that. But, if we had paid to have it cleared, I don't even know what it would have cost. We might not have still been able to afford it, but, I don't know. We might have been looking at this differently. But anyway, so A, little bit of tour of the property, but also B, just to talk about planning. So next weekend, so the drainage and all that, that's been the last couple of weekends. It took me a couple of weekends to do that for a couple of reasons. Doesn't matter. Tomorrow at this point, hopefully, I'm going to get back here and clear the area around the Norweco. I think it's called. It's the brand. Around the pump gimmick. And then I think my next phase is going to be clearing this area here where I was playing around with the fern and everything, and that stump is. I think I'm going to just start clearing, kind of like a this motion, and working my way back to that tree. And then I'll see where we're at. Oh yeah, I also have to take care of this. I came out here one time. Can you guys even see it? I came out to mow the lawn one day, and I found that this tree had snapped off. Let's see. I don't even know if you can see it. This GoPro kind of zooms out a little bit, but it just snapped off the side of this tree and just didn't hear it. Had no idea. There's nothing here for it to damage, but had no idea it happened. So I need to, I don't have to, but I intend to somehow bring that down, cut all the limbs off and then feed it through a wood chipper. Which hopefully we'll have in the next couple of weeks as well. I went to look at it. The one I thought I was going to buy, I went to look at today, but I decided it was just way too small. So my guy is trying to get me a quote on a bigger one and trying to see how quickly he can get it here for me. But that's item next. So those are our projects for, I don't know, probably February. I think that all of that stuff is going to take us through February. March, we've got to be built. I have to be either building the shed or ordering the shed by March, because I have to have the garage cleared and our gym moved into the garage, which is going to require finishing the garage. We need to insulate it and build. I'm going to build a little platform for all of our fitness equipment to go on. But yeah, we need to insulate it and finish it and everything so that it's not 10 degrees in the winter and 120 degrees in the summer, because we've got family, hopefully, fingers crossed, coming in May, and maybe spending the summer with us. I'm gesturing over here because that's the guest room. Right there is the guest room, and that's where our treadmill and our weights are right now. But yeah, so I've got to have all that taken care of before they get here in May. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tight. If my contract had ended at the end of December like it was supposed to, I'd be well on my way. But, working working a weekend at a time, and sometimes only, half a day at a time, because, I I've got to trade off with Taryn and watching the kid, and we have other stuff we got to do. I'm just not making as fast progress as I need to. If my contract ends at the end of February, which currently it's scheduled to, then I'll be able to hit it hard in March. The other side of the coin is that if we have an extremely wet winter like we did last winter, it's been about 50-50 this year. We've been, like, when it's rained, it's been brutal, and you've seen some of those videos. But when it's like this and it's dry and it's not that cold, it was freezing this morning, but it's warmed up quite a bit since clouds rolled in. It's not that bad. It's definitely the right kind of winter weather to be working in. Cause like I've just got a hoodie on, you get to work in, you work up a little bit of sweat, and before you know it, you're taking your coat off and chugging water. So if I can get lucky with the weather, that'll help a lot too. But yeah, it's a lot of work ahead of us. I shouldn't say coming to the conclusion, but sort of, because I already kind of knew, but I'm coming to terms with the fact that I need to go buy a truck. I don't want to buy a truck, to be honest. Like, they're expensive and they're not abundantly useful, but they're super useful when you need one. And for as much stuff as I need to take to the dump, and for as often as we, have to buy stuff, large items and try to cram them into the back of the CRV, which, by the way, is an incredible vehicle. Highly recommend the CRV. Shout out to Honda. You guys can sponsor the channel. There's enough times where we need one. And I guess if it was going to be a second vehicle, it would make sense. And well, anyway, now I'm just speculating about what's going to happen over the next 6 months. So we'll save that for another video. Something just caught my eye. Let's see. Can you even see it? Where's it at? I'm trying to make sure. This thing has a really wide viewfinder too. There's a tree over here. I don't know if you can see it. I don't think you can, but it is like, it's leaning like this. I don't know if it's broken or if it grew that way or what, but that's going to be a bitch to take down because it looks like it just grew that way. Hopefully you guys can see me. It's now late and dark. I'm in the parking lot. I can't even show you actually from where I am, but I'm in the parking lot of the fabulous Point Hotel and Casino. This was my home away from home pre-pandemic. I used to come in here on my lunch and have a burger and a couple of beers or whatever. And I really like this place, and I can't wait to be able to come back. They are open, but it's an unnecessary risk in my mind. I don't gamble other than poker, and they don't have a poker table anyway. And the bar is closed, and so it's just all the things I love about it I can't really do until we can all get vaccinated. But I drove up here to try to connect to their Wi-Fi to upload YouTube videos because I'm just like, I'm so over it. Unfortunately, I can't get close enough in the parking lot. I know on my phone where it switches over to Wi-Fi, and it's literally like feet away. I just can't quite get close enough. And again, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I would just go in and sit down at a table in the restaurant. It's not even a restaurant, it's like a little cafe, and do it there. But yeah, I just can't get close enough. But I have really good LTE here, so I'm hotspotting it. And I don't know, that CGC mystery box video is I don't know how big it is. It's like a gig, and it's uploading in like 10 minutes, hotspotting for my phone. So I'm probably using up all of my data for the month. And what is today? Yeah, I think I don't know when our contract rolls over, but I think it just started. So I'm basically screwing myself for the rest of the month. I might have to up my data plan, which I wouldn't mind doing, to be honest. I wouldn't have a problem upping my data plan. If we had consistent signal at the house, I would get unlimited data. I would just pay for it, and I would use that to supplement our DSL. But our signal is not consistent. There's like a spot in the driveway where it's pretty good, and if I could set up an antenna and run it, I mean, there's, I'm not even gonna get into that. We should have fiber. If my neighbors weren't so damn cheap, we would have fiber. Someday I'll tell that story. But anyway, I don't remember what point I was working on when the battery died, but yeah, that tree's gonna have to come down probably. And I'm getting a wood chipper so we can just chip it all up, and we'll use that as mulch to lay down over our the ground, I guess, to build some topsoil and to you know, kill whatever's left underneath and do all that. So it's all gonna be worth it in the end. Hopefully I hear more about the wood chipper here this next week. Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, share, comment down below. Let me know what you think of these kinds of videos. If you want to hear more about the farm, I might intertwine them with some of my, you know, with the eBay videos. My wife is thinking about starting her own channel because the farm is a little bit more her passion. I'm into it. I'm really excited, but it's definitely her passion. So she's thinking about maybe doing some YouTube stuff, but I don't know if it warrants its own channel. So let me know what you guys think, and I will see you next time.